Hello, and welcome to the If We Knew Then podcast. I'm Steven Socks.
And I'm Lori Socks. Today we're celebrating our 18th wedding anniversary, and we're celebrating it with you. There was no exchange of gifts, no
cards. We did cards.
We made cards. No weekends away, no special dinner. Just this, because when it comes down to it, this is us.
Yeah.
This is who we are.
Sophia was so sweet because she was like, if you want to, I don't know, part of it could be because she wants to babysit her brother and kind of, rule the house type of thing. But if you guys want to go out and have a meal.
That she's just like a nice kid.
Well, good. Well, then scratch what I said. But she said, if you really want to go out and have a meal, I'll just be home with Liam. You guys can go on a date. And I was like, oh, yeah, date sounds fun. But
who wants to date their wife? To quote When Harry Met Sally.
That's right.
We can date.
But we our family is the together is what is
it's what we are. It's who we are. And I thought that to me is something worth talking about. That this is our 18th wedding anniversary. We've been married for 18 years. So our marriage is a legal adult. It is old enough to fight for its country and vote and go off to college.
Not quite old enough to buy cigarettes, I don't think.
Our marriage doesn't
21
smoke.
Or drink.
But, it's been 18 years. And when we were married 18 years ago today, this definitely... I don't even know if I thought ahead, which is what you do when you're in love. You're just in love. And that is the foundation of this relationship. I can go back even further. And I remember, when we met and butterflies in my stomach and wondering, when the next time I might see him again. And I think what my experience is, because we are not marriage counselors, we are not counselors of any sort, we are not professionals, we do not claim to know everything, we just share our story. And in the last couple months, what I've realized is I forgot the butterflies. I forgot that feeling of wondering if I was going to see him and shopping for a new outfit and pretending that it's something that was in my closet all along. And I don't know. I think some of those things may be archaic things that women did. And I hope I'm in no way neglecting our evolution of equanimity as women.
No, but to be excited for,
to just be excited,
together,
be excited. And this journey that we've had with Liam, a lot of people, they do tell you out of the gate the impact that your child with Down syndrome will have on your relationship. And I think it can take its toll and it does end some relationships. And I completely understand that. There have been times in our relationship where I've had to put on the brakes and just say, I cannot go any further if this is the way we're going to go down the path. Like, this needs to change. This is what I need. And I've learned over the last 18 years that communication has been so important to our existence. In no way is our relationship like this perfect thing that is done with ease. But I think what makes it easier is that we communicate. And I've learned that. I can't say, coming into it, if we have a couch, please lay down, Lori, and tell us, just what my relationship was with relationships, what my relationship was with love and with trust and all of that goes into any evolution of a human being. As we evolve and become who we are, the different paths we take, the different choices we make. Having children, if you have children, that just right off the bat, that changes everything. It changes the complete dynamic. It changes the focus of your life. It changes the focus of your relationship. And, I just, I look back at the slow progression, and I didn't always do it right. And I think as far as changing, it was so important for me when things came up to actually see them for what they were. I had one of those conversations when Sophia was born, and we were up all night. And I think maybe I felt like I was up more than you were, because I was definitely nursing and doing all the other things that only I could do. And I remember one time just being like, I can't just do this alone. I can't feel that I'm alone. And that was such an important conversation to have, because I believe as women, sometimes we don't have that conversation. We don't have it in so many different realms because of whatever we think that we're supposed to be or whatever we think that we're supposed to do. And, I just yesterday caught a glimpse of myself in a picture that Sophia took in a store where I thought I was being real cute in these like goofy glasses. And she took that picture and she showed it to me, and I was like, oh my gosh, I look so tired. Please delete that picture. And I realized that, just over the last couple of weeks, I had burned the candle at both ends, and I had stepped out of the house doing something for someone else, and I didn't take that time to check in, and I didn't take that time for self-care. I didn't even apply lip gloss, which to me is like, I always at least try to apply a little lip gloss.
That's the minimum, right?
I think that lip gloss is like minimum effort, maximum output. That to me, lip gloss is like, maybe I just
you
feel
get a
better.
lot of miles out of it.
I do personally, and I could be wrong. Like I could absolutely be wrong, but it's how I feel. But having those conversations and taking care of yourself in a relationship, I've learned is so important, because I don't know if I had that in my toolbox.
Well, I don't think the stakes were ever as high as they are when you're married than in a lot of other relationships, especially when kids come along. Everything intensifies.
And everybody changes. Like everything changes.
You change.
You are a different person.
We're totally different, right?
Yeah.
From when we got married. Then I had to go from I'm different, coming from a different place, and relating with you being different, coming from a different place, and we have to do that together. How does that work together, right? And so
we've had many you've changed conversations.
Yeah, oh yeah. But I mean,
mostly
overall,
for the better.
Oh yeah, way overall.
But sometimes not for the better. Sometimes it's like, wow, you're jaded. Wow, you're cynical. Wow.
Sure, and that could be just living in LA. That could be like.
But I think that, and I'm jumping ahead from Sophia to like and IPs, but I think that comes from, this path, not because our son has Down syndrome, but like our fight for Liam's education. That made us so cynical. That made, that created in me someone who does not expect the best. And I've always expected the best. Foolishly so. And some not foolishly in my heart, but other people will be like, but I never cared. And I did find myself that I've talked about is that when we got done and out of that carpenter school, that I just expected everybody to pull the rug from under my feet. And like, I didn't trust anything. And that seeps into the rest of your life. If you think that doesn't seep into other areas, it seeps into other areas.
Also knowing the struggles that Liam has or we've had with Liam through the educational system or just through society in general, it opens our eyes, like you had said in the last episode, it opens our eyes to other injustices in the world for other groups. And that's heavy. I feel a responsibility to change myself and spread the word of what equality is
and kindness,
justice,
because you see how much it makes a difference. I mean, kindness in itself makes the biggest difference in our lives. Kindness to each other, like just at this new school, people are so kind and they care.
Mm-hmm.
And I have, recently, I think since getting out of and getting into a healthy environment, I see that that really is what matters. I think about, now we'll go back 18 years. And I remember when the first time I went home to your home over the holidays and to meet your family.
Oh, yeah.
And it was the winter holiday time. And I don't know. I know I've met other people's families before, and I don't even know if that, the weight of that, I mean, I was pretty I don't know if I felt the weight of it. I don't know. Maybe
Let's preface the fact that I, for basically my whole life, enjoyed going into a room of strangers.
I don't.
And you're right. And
I still don't.
Learning their names and introducing myself and talking. That's not something that you enjoy.
No.
You enjoy talking to people and very interested in them. But to be thrown into a room of strangers is not a comfortable place.
No.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
But from my aspect,
I had to learn, though. I had to learn that there was nothing wrong with that.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Like that was me.
Yeah, that's probably part of the
anxiety was right. I know this is wrong, and it took me a super long. It took me until
I was insensitive to it because I didn't experience that, and I just assumed that hell yeah, just go into the room and start talking, right? Hey, it's fine, right?
Yeah.
Well, so I wasn't supporting you in that way like I did later, but it compounded probably the fact that you thought you were wrong in the fact that you felt that way too.
I also thought I was simple. I remember I said, this is funny. This is like funny because I said, I'm good. I'm pretty simple. All I need is my yoga and an eggnog latte. And
we were in New Orleans in, the early 2000s.
And you told me not to say that to anybody.
Yeah.
You're like, please don't say that. Please, that's not simple. That is, and I could say it like with a little accent and be like, all I need.
You're like latte when I'm thinking
eggnog,
okay,
but
eggnog latte.
Eggnog
when I'm
latte.
Thinking
I still love them.
At my home at the time, we're getting like Taster's Choice or something. through
you
like
used
a
to drink
Coffee.
7-Eleven coffee when I met you.
Oh yeah,
and I've
with
turned
a lot of creamer.
I've turned you into a coffee style, and I used to
now I just
use
drink
those
black coffee, but
yeah.
but that is a change too. Like you think that it's all these changes in your life, and we're going on now 18 years, and we'll say it again, but 18 years and all the changes, everything.
Yeah, and when you talk about that, it was really hard for me. And that it was a lot of self-judgment. I don't think the self-judgment really stopped until we had children, Sophia, and then Liam came along.
You think
and
it
really,
stopped?
I don't think it stopped. I think I still judge myself. I try not to, but I'm aware when I'm judging myself.
I think I judge myself more now.
But I am aware of my effect that self-judgment has on Sophia and even Liam. And that it wasn't until like Sophia didn't want to go to a party or be around a lot of people, and I saw her judge, and I was just like, no, that's just who you are, and you be you. You be you.
See, I'm naive enough to think that my self-judgment is concealed in myself.
No, it comes out in this tone.
Comes out.
You have a tone. You wouldn't admit it, but he has a tone that you're just like, well, whatever you're feeling right now, can you just stop because you're
I'm a dad.
No, it's not even that. It's like just such it's a tone. But I think that being aware just came, from having kids. And then you have this person outside of you, and all of those conversations that you have, you see the impact that they have on another human.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think of the things that
but
Liam
you have that
says.
same impact on you. Like the words that you say to yourself.
Ah, yeah.
Like you say them to yourself. Yep. And because I would always tell Sophia, like, would you, if she would say like some self-judgy kind of thing, I'd say, so if your best friend said that to you, would they still be considered your best friend? And she'd be like, no. And I'd be like, so you should be your own best friend. And now I had heard that like on Oprah many, many years before. And I was like, I should be my own best friend. Yeah, I'm going to be my own best friend. Because the voice
you hear in your head when you're thinking about what am I doing for the day? How am I going about things? Am I doing this right? Is your voice.
I know, but I didn't really, even though I knew I had to be my own best friend, I don't think it's solidified until I saw someone that I I adore and love, which we should all be able to say that about ourselves. We adore and love ourselves. That should be like...
I'm still trying to get Sophia to do my mirror therapy. And everyone laughs at me in the family.
Well, because you're the only one who does it.
No, I don't actually do it much anymore.
No.
But growing up, I did, and it really helped me. Mm-hmm. But I was an only child and spent a lot of time in my room alone, like acting plays out and different things or different kind of games that I had created
Physical
for myself.
Comedy.
Yeah, seeing how many times I could fall down in a certain way or whatever. But sometimes I made it kind of a time to myself where I'd look in the mirror. I just had this mirror that
Who taught you to do this? Did you just think, I'm going to do it?
I just thought, I want to talk to you. And I had no one else in the room.
That's so
I want to talk to myself.
Like I would never
I was probably like 10.
Honestly, that's not who you present to the world when I met you. I would never think that you even needed that, but maybe doing that is what
gave me a confidence.
Yeah, because you have you have such a healthy confidence.
Oh, good.
That I've always like coveted. Like I wanted that. But go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No,
which is something I've learned over 18 years. I finally, and it's probably like in the last year, you'll say like in the last day.
It was
that
what?
Not to interrupt or to go back. Like I'm aware of listening and letting you finish, and my habit of jumping in.
Well, no, I do it. I do it as well.
But go ahead, your mirror exercise.
Yeah, it's kind of mirror therapy, I guess. I've told Sophia to do it, and I think it's a good thing, especially for a tweener or a teenager, to look in the mirror and look at yourself right in the eye. So you get maybe like 2 or 3 inches from the mirror, and you can look around your face. I spent a lot of time looking in the mirror at different faces I made for different things, because I would always try to make like goofy faces or expressions, or as a kid, I got to where I was like, oh, I wonder if I can make myself cry, right? So let me look how long it took me to make a tear come out of my eye or something like that. And so I'd get really close to the mirror and look at myself as if I was this other person outside of myself that I could almost hold hands with and just look in the eyes. And it's a very intense thing to do. Even with your partner, it's intense to just look in someone's eyes for a long time. It's much easier to do with someone that you're intimate with, at least in your immediate family. So if you can do this to yourself in the mirror, you're becoming closer to yourself, is how I always felt. But to say things...
And you were 10.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
That's amazing.
But I'd say things to myself as simple as, I love you, or I like your eyes, or you can do it. All these things you'd say to someone else if you were encouraging them and loving them, and it got emotional sometimes, where especially I'd go to the mirror when I was upset about something, and I'd cry to myself in the mirror, or sometimes I just silent, and I had to be kind of quiet about it because I'm in my own room and I know I can't talk to somebody. My parents would like knock on the door and be like, well, what's going on in there? Like,
because you're an only child.
Who are you talking to? Yes. So.
Not you.
Why are you having this banter about this, that you just got in trouble, or something, or a bully at school or something? And it was a way for me to tell myself that I love myself, and to tell myself that I believe in myself. And it's a real way to do it instead of just saying it. You're really doing it. And the start of it can be as uncomfortable as it would be to hold hands and look in front of someone's face, right in their eyes that you don't know, and just to look at them. And that's like a acting 101 or improv 101 thing, where you just kind of look at right in someone's face, and you just stay still, and whatever emotion comes, you mirror what the other person is doing. And so here, literally, you're in a mirror, and you just kind of go with it and get closer to yourself.
That's really profound, because you just said about someone you don't know. And I was thinking that's really good for...
So many times people don't know themselves. I want Sophia to know
Or
herself.
to know each other. Like, I think I won't be surprised if that's something... I think that's good, for us.
Yeah, we should do that ourselves. We should take a day that we were going to meditate, but also we could take a day where part of that meditation time is to just look at ourselves, you and me, just look at each other. I mean, that's
the thing, is I think that over time, that's what I say, is like you forget to see each other. Like I know that that's something that like weighs heavy on my heart, and I'm going to say, because like I made him promise that he's not allowed to die, because losing you would just like, I can't even. And I know that is a product of my life, of who I am. And I also know that my response to that is a product of, it was my coping mechanism to loss. And I did look around. I don't know when it was. And I just was like, I had slowly started to build like a little bit of a wall. And just feeling like, what?
That's what that was.
I get that now. it's the truth. And when things are challenging for me, so overwhelmingly so, and I think honestly, I'm gonna say it again, just that challenge, just the end of Liam's fight at that other school was just devastating, and the pandemic and just so many things that I just felt like I wasn't seeing you anymore. I felt like I was getting through and using all of my energy just to stay strong and be able to do the things that I had to do.
Well, sometimes the mom and dad role become
the roles,
your whole role.
That's yeah. I mean, I think
and
that's
the
a total
husband-wife
thing.
role can be lost.
Yeah, I think that, and it's funny because I know my best friend Tina, very early on, she was like, "Oh, you have to always celebrate your anniversary. You have to always do something." And I think that it is different for every family, but I also know that having Liam and the journey that we've had with him has changed us in a dynamic way. I don't know if we ever would have done the whole leave Sophia at home with a sitter and go celebrate our anniversary. I don't think that was ever fun for us.
Yeah.
But I feel like, this is a gift of Liam, was just the preciousness of time and cutting through really the stuff that maybe wasn't to us. And I'm not saying that it's good or bad for anyone else, but who we are, what is me,
just like when
what
we
is
talk
us?
about you not feeling comfortable in a room of strangers, and that's not wrong.
No, it's just what I feel.
The couple that becomes an entity in itself, and that's us, and that's not wrong.
And I think, so I think that what Liam brought to the relationship, I mean, early on, I remember, the pregnancy and how we were all excited. And I think just because he was born so early, I mean, you and Sophia and I all just like hunkered down, and we were solidified into this team. Again, it was when we were going through the NICU days. One thing, if your child's in the NICU and you don't get to take them home, that is so hard, and I won't say for a mom. I think it's just hard. It's something different. It's not what you planned. It's not what you expect. And there's no words for it for anybody who's experienced it. And it doesn't just happen to children who have Down syndrome. It happens to, our good friend's niece was just born at 23 weeks. Is it 20?
I think so.
And one thing that I shared with her was that, that connectiveness, like to make everything a celebration. First it was like every day I celebrated as a birthday. You're one day, because we didn't know how long we were going to be given. We've talked before that definitely shaped our relationship, and our viewpoint on Down syndrome did not matter to us at that point, because I just want him to live. So every day we celebrated, and then it was every week. And one thing I told my friend was just, find ways to stay connected, find ways. We recorded our voice and we put it on a little iPod with little speakers in the incubator, just bring cookies. And as silly as that sounds, and I think that's why I bring cookies to every IEP and every PT, I always bring cookies, because I knew that having that turns it into a celebration, and it does something. It makes it about our son. It makes it about the fact that he is alive, and we're celebrating. We're not going to that place that's there. The possibility of celebration and also complete devastation are there at the same time, and they're equally there. And I chose that I was going to celebrate until something made me do otherwise. And I was so fortunate. That ours continued to be celebrations, because I know that's not everybody's journey, and my heart breaks for those. I have no words that would ever bring ease and peace, but that was a turn in our relationship, a huge turn, because we brought home that stroller that was missing a piece when we unpacked it. And we had I don't know how many weeks he had been in the NICU, but I remember that we're going to get the stroller, because if we get the stroller, that means he's coming home.
Right. And we got it, and it didn't have that piece, and we had to go bring it back.
But it was could we not put it together? Something.
Yeah.
It was something. Maybe it could be put together, but there was something.
I don't think
it couldn't
was,
totally be. And
oh,
I remember just crumbling on the kitchen floor and just crying and just
like we've been
why
delayed.
why can't the stroller just why like I just whoever packed that stroller, I'm so sorry, because like that stroller took the brunt of like my emotions. I was so angry and all the injustice in the world of my child having to fight for his life was in that moment. And that was a crumble moment. And that was a moment that I think that it was another honesty moment where, I mean, I had to be honest about how I felt. And I feel like for the most part, we get through things we both were a good team. And we do what we have to do in order to, we did what we had to do. And then we take a moment, and sometimes what I learned, what took me a while to learn, was to have that conversation. And then what took me even more years to learn was to have the conversation as I'm going, because then it's not so heavy. I'm not lifting that weight. I don't have to wait till a certain point to say it. I can just say, you know what, this doesn't feel good, or this makes me sad, or this is what I want, or even, why are you using that tone? Or I don't think you listen to me, or, and sometimes it's true and sometimes it's not. And it doesn't, I feel like I have tried to control every outcome by eliminating the conversations, like trying to make it good. Like, okay, so like the other day, I said, I want tacos. And he said, I'll stop at the groceries. And I said, great, because Sophia had this horrible dentist appointment and she wanted something soft. And I said, get her some sushi. And I just want like 2 tacos. That's all I want is 2 tacos. And then you came home with all this other stuff, like lots of stuff. And I'll be honest, it was lots of stuff that made lots of dishes. And you were making the food and leaving. So when I stood up, the kitchen was just like a hot mess. And I sat there.
But no tacos, no sushi.
No tacos, no sushi. And in that moment, I was like, I can suck it up. And the first thing I did was, I'm so thankful that you cared enough to try to go to the store and try to make these other things. And you were already gone, but this is the conversation I had in my head. Was, the first thing I should feel is gratitude for whatever the situation is. Like, I'm not gratitude for IEPs. I mean, like the effort. Like, thank you so much for caring. And instead of going to the taco stand,
obviously there was a miscommunication and a forgetting.
And going how it started. There was a forgetting of how it started.
Exactly.
And you had the best intentions because you were leaving, and you were, I don't know what you were thinking, but I
wasn't, but I was thinking I got to get some food on the plate. I don't know.
But what I learned was that I just said, I think it's because I've been watching Modern Family. And what I realized about Modern Family, it's a really great show. And I know it's a show, but it's written by people. And the thing that makes that show different is they communicate and they're kind to each other. But they communicate if there's a problem. And that's the only way, really. And you can choose to communicate about something or not choose to. And then when you do, that you do it in a way that's healthy and kind. And that's the only way things change. So I think I just said, thank you so much for going to the store and getting all of these things. But just for the future, when I just really only wanted 2 tacos and all of this other stuff isn't really necessary. And I just, for the future, you can just stop anywhere and just get me 2 tacos. Or I believe that grocery store has a little place that makes tacos in it. But that was just last week.
Another point of communication, it's good to just let someone know where you're coming from. Even if it was something not as blatant as that, if it was something where it was like, I'm really not sure why what I'm doing is getting this reaction. Well, to hear and to listen, to truly listen what the other person says is the way to communicate. It's the way to understand.
For us, we are not counselors. We are not. It's what's worked for us.
Our entire podcast is just us and our experiences.
Just learning.
Oh, if I can there's things that I'm like, how could you have taken what I said that way? And you explain yourself and you say it, and I go, wow, I never saw it that way. I can totally understand now, right? So then I can adjust the way I communicate in the first place.
But also, I feel like when it does go south, like when, it is an argument or something, that I've learned too that I can be in the messy stuff. I can be in the messy stuff. And I do think that is a gift that I got from being in IEPs. And I make a joke. I have one friend, Julie, that I make a joke with, and I'll be like, you can handle that. You've been in IEPs. And whenever I speak with parents or caregivers that have been in IEPs and they have some kind of challenge or it's something that they're taking on, I'm like, hey man, you can do that. You've went up against the school district in an IEP to get your child supports. You can do that. And I think that is, one of the gifts is that I learned that not only can I do it in this arena, but if I'm going to put that much effort in this arena, then I'm going to put that much effort in my home. And that means talking to my teenage daughter and, talking to my tween-aged son and to my husband. And it took me a long time to be okay with it not being, for it being the unknown. And I don't know where it came from, that need to think that I had to do it right. I don't know, but I see it eep into other ways. I see it as a parent of a child with a disability, feeling like there's a certain way that I have to present. I feel like, there's a certain way I have to do things because the way society looks at you and the judgments that are made or the assumptions. And, all of that impacted our relationship. All of that did in these little ways. And again, having Liam, the birth of Liam, it's just been a gift because I don't know if our relationship would have evolved this way. I don't know.
Oh no, it wouldn't.
It wouldn't have. You're absolutely right, because I would have blindly gone through the education system. I would have never seen any injustice for anyone. I la 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 la, and our daughter was not getting the support she needed.
Yeah.
And it's just such a profound gift. And even knowing this is a profound gift, like I just saw someplace that there was this person that has like some celebrity from a reality show, and they had a child, a newborn that has Down syndrome. And I was just like inside, I was just like, oh, please let this be a gift to our community. Please let the conversations and the narratives be something that propels us to change. And I'll be honest, I didn't really read much because, of course, the people who are reporting on it use like horrible language that is misrepresentation of what it means and all, you know what I mean? Like terrible and,
devastating,
not terrible, devastating news and blah, 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 blah.
How is she coping?
And it's just, I just want to reach out and I just want to say, man, let me just tell you the reality. You're going to see it, but your voice is so important. That voice is so important. All of our voices are so important.
But people with a bigger stage, you're saying.
So important to the message that is out there. That's a gift that I didn't possess before Liam was born. That was not, I personally didn't really think my voice had too much power, value, worth, impact, all of those great things that came from my upbringing.
But when you take it into the microcosm of this community we have with parents of children with Down syndrome, you can see how you can make a little bit of a change and how that can spread.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't like, I was just, for some reason, I just had a flash because I'm thinking like, okay, this is our anniversary episode and this is what we knew if we knew then. Like if we knew.
Oh, if we knew then for the anniversary. Yeah.
Yeah. If we knew then, like when we were getting married, how much more profound my life would be. How much beauty, how just the core of my life, like how things have really come down to the core, to the most simple things. All of these words are things I'm sure I said because I read so many books. I mean, I love beat poetry, and I went to San Francisco to City Lights bookstore and where Jack Kerouac once sat. And, all of those things were words that I spoke. Obviously watching Oprah and reading every self-help book that ever came my way. They were all theories that I thought I explored and I thought had taken hold, but really they were just like maybe they weren't even seeds. Maybe they were just like still in the packet and laying on the ground wherever you're going to, like when you're figuring out what your garden's going to look like, I'm going to put this here and this here and this here. Put some self-worth there. I'm going to put like communication here. Maybe I'm going to move that over. And
I think that's a factor of youth too. I mean, at least that's how it worked for us. I mean, for me, I know I'm a deeper person than I was when I was in my 20s.
Well, but I always had some depth because of what I had come through as a child. Like my life, I mean, I wasn't ignorant to challenge and to.
But if you knew then.
Yeah, like what I'm saying is that the challenges that I came through as a child and a young adult that formed my viewpoint and who I had decided that what I was going to make from my challenges. And I thought it was like, I thought those were deep roots. But then our relationship and our children, and then Liam really, I think I still was to a certain level, but I think it was just Liam. And when you see something that is so misrepresented, and when you learn about injustice, and I had learned about it firsthand in a different way, but when you learn about the wrongdoings, when you learn about how something is so profoundly misrepresented and because of that impacts so many others. And I'm not even saying it's just the people with the individuals with Down syndrome, but our whole world. Our world would be so much better if it just understood and if it just knew what I know. I feel like I have this golden ticket secret, like, oh my gosh, like today, Liam came in and I was in the bathroom washing my face. And I was just like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm just washing my face. I'll be right out. And he was like, let me shut the door for you. When he shut the door, it took the light out that was in the hallway. And he was like, which light would you like? Would you like this one or this one? Mm-hmm. And I was like, that's great. And he goes, I got you. And he did that. And then and then he did this like, and he winked at me. I don't know where that came from.
That's
just like,
from...
what is that from? Oh, it's from...
Zootopia.
Zootopia. I got you. And then he shut the door. And I was like, damn. I hope everybody has a moment like that in their life. I get them every day, multiple times. Just this human who just cares about me and loves me and is like, I got you, and takes his time. And I get the joy of, oh man, his expressive language. They got his speech therapist at school. And also he's opening up more and he's more comfortable in middle school and he's making that trajectory. And I can hear his words and I'm like, life is so exciting. Life is so exciting. And I'm at an age where sometimes life isn't exciting anymore. And my life is freaking exciting every day, every single day. I talk to my friends sometimes and I'm like, no, man, you're still alive, dude. Every day you're given. You get to create this life. You get to be alive. And don't, like, I'm always like, don't listen to the naysayers and you do this and you're strong and you're powerful. And I'm like cheerleaders for the people I love. And I know I get that because I am a witness to Liam's life. Mm-hmm. And I am a cheerleader for Liam, but Liam is a cheerleader for me. Like that, just such a cheerleader for, and not like, Mom, I'm gonna be your cheerleader, just in everything that he does. Like, I can't imagine if he decided he was going to be a cheerleader, what he would sound like. Like, just like if he decided that he was going to be like inspirational or uplifting. It just is. Yeah, you're right. It just is. And that has changed me. If I would have known then how I still had so much further to go, I don't know if I could have processed it. I don't know if I would have believed it.
It's nice to look back at the last 18 years and to see where you've come.
Yeah. What you've learned. Like, I've learned empathy. I don't even know if I knew compassion. I knew that word, compassion, but I didn't know what empathy was. If you would have told me empathy, I would have thought, oh, empathy is what we, when someone's going through something, but it's not. You don't have to be going through something. You don't have to, like, somebody could just, that's their day. That's who they are. You can empathize if they're feeling something.
It's just it's like acknowledgement of someone else.
Seeing and acknowledging each other.
Yeah.
And if I can't see myself, which I didn't because I didn't have that nifty little mirror thing that you did when you were 10, I didn't have I didn't see myself. How am I going to see others? But it was through seeing that I could see, like seeing Liam, I could see myself. And we've talked before, it took me a little while to really see him. So we're fortunate because we're a team. And you know, teams come in all shapes and sizes. They look different in everybody's house and everybody's home and everybody's community. They look, whatever your team is, whoever your partner on this journey is it a best friend, someone in your family, a community, whatever that looks like. What matters is you have support. What matters is that you know that you're loved and you have somebody that you love, that you
look out for.
Look out for.
That's what teammates do.
We look out for each other.
They cover each other's backs.
Yeah. And, you know, you're going to be tired, but if you just take one moment, just one breath to look at each other and just remember that you're on the same team. You're not alone. And if you are alone, you're still not alone because you got that mirror. And I mean that in all seriousness. You have the power of you. And it's beautiful and strong and able with all the possibility out there. And that is not something that I knew 18 years ago.
Because supporting each other or ourselves through love and encouragement is the greatest gift that we can give to any relationship. And it's why I'm thankful for you. And I'm thankful for this 18 years.
I love you, Boo.
Love you.
And we love each and every one of you that are listening because we know that your time is precious. And this community that we have, this marriage that we have with you, it's evolved over the last 3 years. And I think I've changed even in a lot of the ways that we spoke about today over the last 3 years, really. So thank you. And happy anniversary.
Please follow us on Twitter at If We Knew Then Pod, and you can drop us a line on our Facebook page at If We Knew Then Pod, or visit our website, ifweknewthen.com, to send us an email with questions and comments. And you can join our mailing list there and get alerts of future podcast episodes. All these links will be added to this episode's show notes. Thank you again, and we look forward to you joining us on the next episode of If We Knew Then.